What if I told you that one of the best tools for healing our divided world isn't some new tech or a political movement? Nope. It's actually an idea from a philosopher who lived more than 1,200 years ago. Today, we're diving into the incredible vision of unity from the 8th century thinker Adi Shankaracharya.
And that's really the core question we're tackling in this explainer. I mean, it really feels like our world is just fractured along so many lines, right? But what if the solution isn't about looking forward, but looking way back? What if a thinker from over a millennium ago actually holds the key?
Okay, so before we can really dig into Shankar's solution, we got to be crystal clear about the problem he was facing. And you'll see, it's a problem of deep, deep divides that looks, well, kind of spookily similar to our own. I mean, just look around. We see this kind of fragmentation everywhere today, don't we? These huge ideological, cultural, and political gaps that feel totally impossible to bridge. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a 21st century thing, not at all. The world Adi Shankaracharya was born into was also just full of competing philosophies and a ton of social friction. And that is exactly where our philosopher of unity comes in, the man who dedicated his entire life to bridging these kinds of gaps, Adi Shankaracharya. We're talking about a truly brilliant mind from the 8th century who saw a powerful path back to wholeness. You know, it's pretty wild when you think about how much he accomplished in a pretty short life. Born in the 8th century, he was basically an intellectual prodigy. I mean, he mastered these incredibly complex scriptures when he was just a kid. And then he set out on a mission that was literally going to change the course of Indian philosophy forever. And here's the really interesting part. His mission wasn't to invent some brand new philosophy. Nope. It was to bring back, to revitalize this incredibly profound ancient idea called Advaita Vedanta. And at its heart is a claim that is both super simple and totally radical. That despite everything we see, reality isn't divided. It's all right, so let's get right to the heart of it. Let's break down this core idea. And like I said, it's a concept that's somehow both unbelievably simple and completely revolutionary at the same time. So the philosophy is called Advaita Vedanta. And that first word, Advaita, literally translates to not two. Just let that sink in for a second. Not two. It's this wild idea that the separation we feel, between me and you, between us and the world, is at the deepest level just an illusion. Okay, so if everything is one, then what is that one thing? Well, Shankara called it Brahman. And this isn't like a god up in the clouds. A better way to think of it is like a single universal ocean of consciousness. And everything else, every single person, every planet, every tiny particle is just a wave rising up from that same ocean. Right, but what about our own individual self? That sense of me or I. In this philosophy, that's called the Atman. It's that little spark of awareness inside each and every one of us. And this is where Shankara drops his most mind-blowing point about how the Atman and Brahman are connected. There's this famous Sanskrit phrase, tat tvam asi, that nails this whole idea perfectly. It means, thou art that. Or, to put it another way, you are that. The individual wave isn't separate from the ocean. Your consciousness, your Atman, and that universal consciousness, Brahman, are exactly the same thing. You are that ultimate reality. So why is this such a big deal? Well, because really getting this, truly realizing this oneness, is what Shankar called moksha, or spiritual liberation. It's the key to ending suffering. Why? Because you finally understand that you aren't just this small, separate person, but you're actually part of a unified, infinite whole. But here's the thing. Shankara wasn't just some philosopher sitting in a room thinking deep thoughts. No way. He was also a brilliant strategist. He knew that for an idea this huge to actually stick around and spread, it needed a real-world physical backbone. So what did he do? He set up 4 major monasteries called matas at the 4 cardinal points of the Indian subcontinent: north, south, east, and west. And this was absolutely not a coincidence. It was a total masterstroke of cultural unification. He created a physical network that perfectly mirrored his philosophical vision of one unified whole. Each one of these mathas became a pillar for learning and spiritual guidance. They were specifically designed to rise above all the local cultures and different languages, connecting all these diverse communities under one single unifying philosophy. Just a brilliant, brilliant plan to make sure his vision would last for centuries.
Okay, so let's bring it all back to today. What can this 8th century philosophy and this incredible organizational genius really offer us, right here, right now, in our own chaotic world? Well, Shankara's philosophy is like this powerful antidote to all the division we see today. Think about it. When you start to genuinely see other people not as other, but as expressions of the exact same consciousness as you, all that division and sectarianism just starts to melt away. Compassion isn't something you have to force, it becomes natural, because you realize that hurting someone else is, in a very real way, hurting a part of yourself. The whole game shifts from fighting an external battle to finding inner peace. And ultimately, that's the big takeaway here. Shankara's work is this incredible reminder that all the things we let divide us, our beliefs, our cultures, our identities, they're all just on the surface. They're superficial. And deep down, beneath all of that, there's a fundamental, unbreakable oneness. And so, this ancient wisdom leaves us with a very modern challenge. If we really are all just different expressions of one single reality, then every single division we see out there is an illusion that we have the power to break. The question isn't just some abstract philosophical thing anymore. It's personal. It's for you. What's one division, just one, in your world that you could help bridge today?